Listen up, we're going to start off with prayer, so we're going to ask everybody to be quiet before we pray. We already know some of us have already eaten, but we still want to pray for the rest of the event. So at this time, we pray. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master their requite in which we now live. The long do we serve, the long do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path thou still favor, not the path our wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Amen. First and foremost, we want to thank everybody for coming out to the men's breakfast meeting. Give yourselves a round of applause. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that Allah is independent upon whom we all depend, and Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you in peace in Arabic. We say, Assalamu alaikum. But when we come to the men's meeting, we say, hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! Wait a second, I understand that some of us is eating, and I don't know if that food is wearing your stomach down, but I'm talking to the men, am I right?
That's right.
Am I talking to the men? Men represent the backbone of society, am I right? Oh, so now I'm talking to the wrong crowd. Hold the line!
Hold the line!
That's right. Give yourselves a round of applause. We want to first and foremost thank the dignitaries, the councilmen, the BA's office for coming out. We got people from Trenton, New Jersey who came out. Give yourselves a round of applause. We want to shout out all the organizations that are here: Office of Violence Prevention, Brick City Peace Collective, One Hood, New Direction, The Hub, NCST. Give them a round of applause. Keep the energy high. Newark Anti-Violence Coalition, Hope, Love, and Kindness, Brothers Building a Better Nation, Community Safe Zone, STEP, All-Star Projects, UCC, NCC, My Brother's Keeper. You can still keep the energy up. We just didn't get to your organization yet. We want to shout out Opportunity Youth Network, North Street Academy. We want to shout out the fraternities that are here. Alpha Phi Alpha. Come on, you can make some noise. Phi Beta Sigma, Omega Psi Phi, Iota Phi Theta, Kappa Alpha Psi. Come on, keep the energy high. We want to thank the Congress Assembly's office for coming out. We want to thank Newark Police Department for coming out. We want to thank the Firefighter Office for coming out. Come on, keep the energy up. We want to shout out Trenton, Jersey City, Patterson, and Camden for coming out. Give yourselves a round of applause. First and foremost, for those that have never attended this event, we want to first thank you again for coming out. Ultimately, this space exists because of Mayor Ras J. Baraka. And the mayor created this space. The mayor created this space for men to come together to not only enjoy a meal. So when you see on your seat, there's a shirt on your seat that says hold the line. And the mayor created this space for us to hold the line, not just a way for us to say something that sounds cool, but at the same time for us to have a space where we get to talk about business. This is a business conversation. This is about us building wealth in the city of Newark and all across. This is a space that he has done for years, 8 to 10 years, holding a monthly men's meeting, talking about the business opportunities in the city of Newark, helping some of you to do ventures of yourselves and to do joint ventures as a collective in the city of Newark. When the mayor created the men's meeting, give that a round of applause. He created a space for you to come together and for you to do business. At this time, food should stop be serving and men should be taking the seats. I'm talking, Jared, we want the food to stop serving and we want the men to take a seat. The food should be done. It's over. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, we fed you, it's done. Eat afterwards. Yeah, brother, we didn't come here to eat, we came to talk about business. Brothers, yo, for all of those that's in line, ma'am, yo, the food is done, it's done, it's done. Stop serving, it's done, it's done. Sit down, it's done. I understand you got your plate, put the plate down. The food is done. Abby, why are they still in line? Nah, sit down. No. Huh? After the councilman. Yeah, but food is done. And too. But ultimately, the mayor created this space for us to do business. So this is what this conversation is going to be about. And in a few moments, you're going to hear from our brother, John Hope Bryant. Give our brother a round of applause. We want to thank him for coming out. So I don't want to delay, but I do want to highlight some of the work that is happening when you come to the monthly men's meeting. We have a group that is doing what the mayor is saying to do, coming together, doing joint ventures together. So from nowhere from myself, I want to bring on Brother Abdul from Abby's Restaurant, the president of the Community Collaboration Committee. Please help us to receive him.
Assalamu alaikum. Where we about to eat at? Oh man, it's a packed event, man. I tried to prepare a speech last night, but it was just, this last 24 hours been crazy. But before I move on, I want to bring the brothers up from the Economic and Housing Development Committee, Community Collaboration. Could y'all brothers come on stage with me? Kind of scattered out. Hold the line.
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 Yo, the mayor's not here yet, but let's give it up for our mayor and our governor, Raj J. Baraka, for putting this together, man. He brought a dynamic brother here, man, to share some very, very important information with us and drop some jewels on us, man. John Hope Bryant, I don't know if you guys ever Googled him or looked him up, but this man is amazing, man. He said his mother owns 7 houses. He owns 700. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to follow his footsteps and, go along those guidelines and kind of picked up, not where he left off at, but kind of figure out how he got to where he going. My name is Abdul Roberson. I'm the owner of Abby's the Sandwich Specialist, which a year ago, I stood on this stage explaining to y'all how I was going through the process of buying a mixed-use property in the city of Newark in 2024, which I actually finished in 2024. And today I'm glad to say that our business hours at Abby's at 263 Littleton Avenue are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. And I just want to touch on this project about Littleton Avenue. It's in the central ward of the city of Newark, where I was born and raised at. So it's just not for me. It's actually for all of us. It's for the city. Everybody in here is from different wards. Most of us come from the street background, like myself, where, we hustled and bustled a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed to make the transition from using the information that I acquired at the Newark Men's Meeting, which helped me to get on the stage and ultimately become a real estate developer and a property owner in the city of Newark. So again, I just want to give it up for the mayor for providing this space and providing information that put us in places like this and put us in the rooms with men like John Hope Bryant. This is the Community Collaboration. It's a group that derived from the Newark Men's Meeting. Everybody up here are developers, rehabbers, and all of us are business owners. We came together, we didn't know each other, we came together from rooms like this. So I'm saying that to say, in this room, everybody's sitting with mixed people you don't know, some people you do know. But the importance is that you're around a whole bunch of people. Talk to the person that's sitting next to you. Ask what they're doing, ask what they're not doing. Because the information is in here. You know what I'm saying? And if you want something, you can really achieve it. But the thing around here is that, closed mouth don't get fed. So you have to open your mouth. You got to put that pride aside. You got to put them emotions aside, them feelings aside. And you know what I'm saying? Just apply yourself. Don't be scared to say, bro, I'm trying to do something. How do I do it? You know what I'm saying? Because knowledge is key. And most of us are ignorant. We don't know anything about the things that we're trying to do. But and you never know who knows what you're trying to do or what information they have for you. So I just want to make sure that everybody in here has an open heart and an open mind, and put the pride aside and open your mouth, man. We ain't getting no younger. As y'all can see, our city is in chaos, but it's also progressing every day. And just to touch on the event that happened last night, that was private property. And that's why it's so important for us to become owners. That's why the mayor created these spaces and that information so that we could be owning these properties. We could be owning these buildings. We could be owning these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a person that benefited from his information. All he did was give me information. He didn't give me a house. He didn't give me a contract. He didn't give me any money. He gave me a space where he shared information and I applied it. So I just want you guys to really, take heed and take the initiative in applying the information that we are receiving. The man is not a liar. The man is the truth. And you could believe it because most of y'all know me from now and before. And here's the proof. I'm one of his proofs. He gave something out that was true. I followed what he said, and look where I'm at now. And not just me, all these brothers up here. All these brothers up here from applying the information that the mayor gave us. I'm just blown out of my mind, man. This meeting is, it's a nice crowd here and it's packed, man. So could we just give it up for ourselves for showing up today? I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to I'm the president of the Economic Housing Development Committee. We got the Vice President, Caillou Webster here. I want to let him give a few words about what we do, as a group and how we share resources and just what our committee is about.
Good morning, everyone. Obviously, happy to have you here join with us this morning to fellowship and learn. Really, really excited. This is the biggest event that I've seen take place here in this room. Happy that we are all here to learn, right? To learn, to get a message, to educate. The Community Collaborations Committee, founded a few years ago, as Ab mentioned, from a group of brothers who were interested in impacting their community, who have a love and a deep bond to their community. We have come together to build. At the end of the day, that's what this is about. That's what this room is about. The projects that we're working on individually and together are here to better our city. I see numerous officials who we're working with right now, whether that be from the UCC, from the Urban League, different organizations here, but we're all here to support and to help Newark. I feel like that should get an applause. We're here to support and help Newark. Ab, anything else?
I just want to say, hold the line.
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 That's it from us. We're going to call the brother Josiah back up here. We're going to get prepared for John Hope Bryant to touch the stage and drop some jewels on us. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
I don't hear y'all in here, man. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
I can't hear y'all, man. I ain't going to stop saying it so I hear everybody say it. Hold the line.
Hold the line.
Hold the line.
Hold the line.
That's what I'm talking about. Peace, y'all, and thanks.
Just want to read our brother's bio so that way you get a better understanding before we bring him on. John Hope Bryant is an American entrepreneur, prominent thought leader, author, philanthropist, and a global authority on financial literacy, economic empowerment, and inclusive capitalism. Named on the prestigious Forbes BLK 50 list in December 2024 and Time Magazine inaugural The Closers list, recognizing 18 global leaders working to close the racial wealth gap. Bryant has dedicated his career to transforming economic systems for undeserved communities and ensuring inclusive growth in the AI-driven future. John Hope Bryant is the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope Incorporation, the nation's largest nonprofit provider of financial literacy services for youth and adults. He is also the founder of John Hope Bryant Holdings, Bryant Group Ventures, and Bryant Group Advisors. He previously led the Promise Home Company, and in December 2021, Bryant recapitalized into a new joint venture and successfully closed a $200 million credit facility with Barings to grow the new housing joint venture, marking one of the largest capital raises by a black-owned company in more than a decade. Referred to as the conscience of capitalism by Fortune 500 CEOs, Bryant's advocacy helped more make financial literacy the policy of the United States federal government under President George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He also successfully led efforts to rename the U.S. Treasury Anns to the Freedom Banks building, recognizing the unfinished economic work of Abraham Lincoln for free slaves. John Hope Bryant is a best-selling author. He is one of the only black thought leaders in the world today writing on economics and business leadership, with 6 books to his name, including the national bestseller, Financial Literacy for All, published in April 2024. He is a CNBC contributor, host of the iHeartRadio podcast, Money and Wealth with John Hope Bryant, and a member of both the CNBC Global Financial Wellness Council and the CNBC CEO Council. Bryant's impact has been recognized with numerous awards, including Oprah Winfrey's Use Your Life Award, America's Bankers Innovator of the Year, and inclusion in Time's 50 Leaders for the Future. He is a LinkedIn influencer with over 3 million on social media, and he has amassed over 300 million views across digital platforms through his Straight Talk with John Hope Bryant series, his life mission, to help America live up to its promise, one financially and technologically empowered person at a time. Please help us to receive John Hope Bryant. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
Good afternoon, brothers. Good morning. I don't know what time zone I'm at. I move around a lot, but it's God's time. This is amazing. You're amazing. You're also underestimated. You're also a threat. The only person that can hurt you is you, which is why this conversation is really important. I'm not going to talk at you. I'm going to talk with you. We're going to have a conversation, a family conversation. Is that okay? I want to acknowledge my fraternity. Honored to have you here, good brothers. I want to acknowledge the mayor, who I have never met, but I highly respect. He reminds me of Mayor Maynard Jackson of Atlanta. He reminds me of then Mayor Andrew Young, who is my mentor, who was also Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s right arm in the Civil Rights Movement, who was on that balcony when Dr. King was assassinated in 1968 in Memphis, who gave his life so that we might have life. Newark, and I did not get this memo until I got here this morning. I did not understand it. Newark actually reminds me of Atlanta. Keep me honest on time. I want to make sure we do Q&A. What do I mean by that? My nephew, Mason, moved to Atlanta to stay with us. He's 25 years old now. He moved from Baltimore. And he was having some issues, and I said, look, man, you don't have to go, but you got to get the heck out of here. You can't bring this attitude. I love you, but you cannot be tearing your rear end in my city, in my house. I love you, you got to go. You can go back to Baltimore, here's a plane ticket. He said, no, I'm going to correct my behavior. I can't go back to Baltimore. What do you mean? Your grandparents live there. Of course you can go back to Baltimore. There's a house, there's a room for you there. He said, no. Baltimore is different from Atlanta. Atlanta is different from Baltimore, he said. He said, it's the same city, it's black people, all that, but people in Atlanta have hope. There's a different energy. And whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? It depends who's looking at the glass. Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I take no for vitamins. He got the memo that it was the energy of the city that made the city, not the buildings, not the political structure. And you might say, well, John, how does that translate? I know Atlanta, I've been through Atlanta, big deal. Let me help you out. I'm just giving you some sense of what Mayor Baraka is doing here and what the potential could be right next to Manhattan. Hold on. Atlanta is nothing, there's nothing special about Atlanta. In fact, Atlanta was burned down in the Civil War. Atlanta was racist. Atlanta had discriminatory problems. Atlanta's no panacea, but the leaders got focused. Atlanta today is the biggest economy in the traditional American South. It's the only international city in the South. It is the 10th largest economy in the entire country. The economy of Atlanta, $560+ billion a year, is the same size as the economy of Singapore, the country of Singapore. If Atlanta was a country, it would be one of the 20 largest economies, 20 largest countries in the world. Busiest airport in the world. It is a mecca of black entrepreneurship. It also has problems. There's also the unbanked who are black. There is poverty there that's black. Again, there's no panacea. I'm telling you what happens when people get focused and ignore the noise. I'm telling you, your mayor is on to something. But he can't do it by himself. So when I see a sea of black men coming together, you're not talking about the murder that happened last night, or police brutality that's wrecking your communities every day. You're not here talking about red rooms, police brutality, racism, discrimination. You're here talking about opening green rooms, economic empowerment, home ownership, small business ownership, entrepreneurship, internships, raising up a new generation of leaders. It's a whole nother situation. Let me contextualize where you are. You're sitting in a moment in history, right now. But history does not feel historic when you're sitting in it. It just feels like another day. But that does not mean the moment is not, in fact, historic. It's going to take about 20 years for you to look back at this moment and see it as historic. That's not my opinion. That's the way the world works. When Dr. King was on the scene, people didn't say, oh my God, there's history walking by. In fact, his so-called friends, leaders in the civil rights movement, and by the way, I call this the silver rights movement, from civil rights to silver rights, from the streets to the suites. But when he was in the civil rights movement, his so-called friends called him Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, Uncle Tom, Sellout. These were his so-called friends talking. When he won the Nobel Peace Prize, the other civil rights groups couldn't be there. So Dr. King felt so much that this was everybody's award, that against his staff's recommendation, he took the Nobel Peace Prize money, back then it was about $100,000. He cut it up into 10 pieces. He wired it to 10 civil rights organizations, not in Norway with him. Not one of them said thank you. Not one of them acknowledged the gift. Do you know how angry you've got to be? Do you know how small you've got to be? Do you know how limited in your spiritual dimension you got to be? You know how self-centered you got to be that you don't even acknowledge that some stranger to your organization, I mean, he's not on the board, he's not a shareholder, he has no obligation, sent you today's money about $100,000 with no strings attached. But that's how much they resented his success. What you're going through is not new. You see the same player hating today. Can I get an amen? Remember what I said when I got up here. The only thing that can hurt you is you. You're going to have to stay out of your own way. Eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles. Eagles are like the mayor, high altitude birds. They're not arrogant, they're not pumped up, they're unique, they're special, not better than, just different. Eagle takes a road less traveled. But there's another kind of bird, and it's a buzzard. And a buzzard is a low altitude bird. A buzzard loves packs. A buzzards always elevate themselves and step on yourself, to step on somebody else. Always player hating, never player congratulating, always got something negative to say about somebody. An expert in what they're against, not what they're for. I don't have a problem with buzzards because at least they acknowledge who they are. They announce to the world, I'm a punk. I have a problem with turkeys because the turkey's got wings and can't even fly. All they do is profile. Oh, you don't recognize that? Maybe I need to do it without the mic. You don't see that, brother? We're going to have a real conversation or not? They're all in the bird family. Dr. King gave 12,000 speeches, 6 million air miles, 13 years. He gave that I Have a Dream speech so many times before the March on Washington that when he got there, and they didn't want him to speak then, the organizers didn't want Dr. King to speak. By the way, you might think, looking at history, it was we are the world, we are the future. It's some beautiful thing all around him. No, it was the whole day of speeches. They put him at the end. And then they said to him, Dr. King, we run out of time. So sorry, we run out of time. You don't mind, do you? He's gracious. No, I'm cool. And then it was Dr. Dorothy Height. Am I boring you with these stories? Because context matters. And it was Dr. Dorothy Height, the only black woman to control a building on Pennsylvania Avenue. The National Council of Negro Women owned that building to this day. Oprah Winfrey cleared out the mortgage, owned the building down the street from the White House. She said to them when she was a young lady, she said to the organizers, give him 8 minutes. What could he possibly do in 8 minutes? You see, when God's in the house, nobody remembers anything else. He went up there and they were just looking at the watch. And he started speaking his traditional prepared remarks. And Mahalia Jackson to the left said, "Tell him about the dream, Martin." Translation, I've heard this raggedy speech so many dang on times. Will you please leave the script and rap a little bit? And he started talking about, I have a dream. Black children and white children, Jews and Gentiles. That was crazy talk in 1960s. And he changed the world. 70 employees. That's all he had. $600,000 operating budget at his height. And changed the world and did it without firing a shot. And the one mentor of him that became a mayor, mentee of him that became a mayor, his name, Andrew Young, who then injected that leadership into Atlanta and turned it into the only international city in the South. Brought the Olympics there, brought major investments there, real estate development. And Maynard before him focused on black participation in contracts. So much so that he was hated by the mainstream power structure. Couldn't get a job, Maynard Jackson, after he left office. Why some of the millionaires, the black millionaires that he created didn't give him a job is another conversation. Didn't give him an office, a board seat, and say, just chill. Am I getting too sensitive here? You're sitting in a moment in history. I'm going all across the country. And a meeting that used to be 20 people is now 2,000 people. But it's not black men. This is extraordinary. And I applaud you. So let me be specific when I say you're sitting in a moment in history. What you do in the next 3 to 5 years, what we all collectively do, will determine the quality of life for at least the next 50 years, possibly the next century, 100 years. What happens between now and 2030 is everything. People say, oh, John Bryan's talking hyperbole up there. What is he talking about? Let me be specific. The first Reconstruction, civil rights, Civil War, 1865. These last about a decade, by the way. And we don't have time to go into all the details, but there's enough online of my content. By the way, it's not 300 million views, it's now 800 million views. I'm just giving you some sense of the movement. The last 2 years, I've had 800 million video views, knocking on the door of 1 billion. The podcast is top 100 for business, not black business, not minority business. It's the top 100 podcast, Money and Wealth, for all business. Top 40 podcast for all entrepreneurship. Something has happened. A switch has gotten flicked. Back to the story. 1865, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass get together. Before that, January 1865, Secretary of War, Stanton and General Sherman go to Savannah, Georgia, ask 20 ministers, black men, what do you want at the slavery? Did they say they wanted welfare? No. Handout? No. An apology? That would be nice. No. What do we want? We want land. We want to do for our. They signed Field Action 15, gave them land down the southern coast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia coast, North Florida, the beach. All of that property was allocated to freed black slaves. Those who fought in the Union Army, like my second great-grandfather, George Young. 40 acres. Okay, you didn't get that. They worked that land. By the way, this was crappy land. This was an agricultural economy. This was crappy land. The worst land you could get in 1840 was on the beach. You love it now, but you couldn't do anything in 18. You put the seeds in the sand, you wake up tomorrow, your crop's in Jamaica. But we didn't complain about it. Black folks been doing so much with so little for so long, we can almost do anything with nothing. We didn't complain about it. We got busy. No Facebook, no Twitter, no Snapchat, no email, no communication. Somehow, 1,000 people got the memo, took occupancy of the land, worked that land so hard. In 30 days, they said, my God, they're so industrious, give them a mule. Oh, you didn't get that either. This is not a story out of some storybook. This literally happened. January, the land. February, the mule. March 3rd, 1865, Abraham Lincoln signs the Freedmen's Bureau Act, which creates the Freedmen's Hospitals and Freedmen's educational facilities, which were land-grant universities. Ultimately, HBCUs came from that. Your mayor graduated from an HBCU. I believe it was Howard University. All this then originated in something called the Freedmen's Bank. The Freedmen's Bank's mission, quote, teach freed slaves about money. That was financial literacy, 1865. So hold on now. Land, February, January. Mule, machinery, February. Bank, to domicile your savings and lend on capital for your facilities, comes in March. He then promises blacks the right to vote. And Booth said, that's the last speech you'll ever give. That's a bridge too far. He's murdered April 8th, 1968. 4 months. Fast forward now 100 years. Second Reconstruction, Civil Rights Movement. So the first one was about freedom. Second one was about, my brother's okay? Second one was about access. Access to jobs, access to facilities, access to the right to vote. Are you following me? All right. That was the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King said, I'm here to redeem the soul of America. He didn't say I'm here to save black people. I'm here, that wouldn't have worked, by the way. I'm here to redeem the soul of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. Woo! He attacks racism, attacks the war in Vietnam. We know this story. He moves to poverty eradication and the Poor People's Campaign. And he didn't last one speech, one march, never made it to Washington, D.C. And he said, we're going to help poor whites also. They're not our enemy. There are more poor whites in America then and now than poor anybody else. Why are you the poster child for poverty? I mean, folks talking about DE&I today. I'm like, I don't care about DE&I. Kill it. It's been weaponized. I could care less. It's been politicized. What? You fifth on the list. Why are you obsessing about DE&I? Why have you become the poster child for DE&I? Because somebody wanted you to. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the second Reconstruction. Dr. King pivots to poverty eradication. Understands that the racial word white is a made-up word. No, you weren't ready for that. I'm going to bring it back over again. The world's 5 billion years old. Organism life, 4 billion years old. Neanderthal life, 200 million years old. Modern human life, as you know it, walking upright, 200,000 years old with intelligence. Enlightenment, 6,000 years. Jesus and all that comes from religion, including our Muslim brothers and sisters, 3,000 years, give or take. The word white, the racial word white, 1620. That's when it was created in America. And here's what happened. 20 indentured servants were brought in for economic reasons from the British to Jamestown, Virginia. 4 white, 16 black. Guess what happens? They get along. They become friends. They don't like their overseer. They don't like how they've been treated by the foreman. They run away together. By the way, don't believe anything I'm saying. Check it out for yourself. Use that phone to be smart. Am I getting too deep? I want you to understand what Malcolm X says. You've been bamboozled, you've been tricked, you've been fooled, you've been hoodwinked, you've been led amok. Refocus. They run away together. I'm going to make this very quick because I'm going to get to the crux of the conversation, which is what you can do in the third Reconstruction. They get caught. The overseers come back and say, boss, we got a problem. They're getting along. Why is that a problem? Well, boss, you can have a race crisis. You cannot have a class crisis because we're the class. So they say to the white runaways, poor whites, you get 2 more years of indentured servitude. You can't run away like that. I can't let you get away with it. Blacks, you're going to be a servant for life. That was the beginning of slavery. They then said to the poor whites, now you're in charge of the blacks because you're white like us. Now, because the poor whites were uneducated and unenlightened, they didn't say this thing next. Okay, I'm white like you, but do I have titles like you? Do I have land grants like you? Do I have permission from the king like you? Do I have wealth like you? Do I have education like you? Are you with me? They didn't ask these questions. This ridiculous conversation between poor whites and poor blacks is 400 years old. You're looking for love in all the wrong places, in problems. You were manipulated then, and somebody's trying to manipulate you now. Dr. King gets assassinated April 4th, 1968. Same month as Lincoln. 100 years later, focusing on the same thing, economics. Fast forward now to George Floyd's murder and the pandemic, 2020. I don't have time to go into all the details, but just trust me, it was a Noah's Ark moment. George Floyd's murder. If it had happened without the pandemic, somebody would have said, you know, it was a brother got jacked up last night. I don't know what it was. I was busy working. Did you hear about it? Yeah, I heard about it. What time's dinner, baby? And then moved on to something else. But in my opinion, God worked this out. So whether you're Republican or you're Democrat, you're black or you're white, you're rich or you're poor, you're conservative or you're liberal, you're urban or you're rural, you're looking at a television set and said universally, oh my God, that's horrendous. Pivot moment. And here comes social justice reckoning for Black America. We get freedom high. We get excited. I get concerned. I tell my black brothers and sisters, calm down, relax, chill, focus. If you don't play this exactly right, you're going to upset the moment and upset people who don't want you to have this moment. I said this thing will last maybe to 2026, 2028. No, it didn't last 2 years before you got the reaction to the traction. Am I going over your head? Now let me come back around to why I have any right to tell you anything. Thanks for bringing your children in. Let me tell you, for those saying, "Well, how can John Bryant tell me about anything?" He comes here as a top 0.05% of all wealth in this country, which is true. You know, when you have a 700 credit score or better, you're not black, you're green. When y'all go to the club tonight, after you do all your business, oh, she's fine. Oh, she's so fine. Oh, he's so handsome. What's your name? What's your credit score? I'm only partially kidding. Because when the looks drop, that's your business partner for life. Oh, you didn't get that. Before God endowed marriage with spiritual virtues, it was a business contract for 3,000 years. Don't trust me. Use a smartphone to be smart. Check everything out I'm saying. Let me tell you why I've got credibility to say it, and then we're going to talk about how I did it and where we're going from here. Are we good so far? You see, this is no notes. It's just from my heart to you. I grew up in Compton, California. I'm going to do this real quick because you can actually pick up a lot of this one line. I grew up in Compton, California, South Central LA, but I think the story is important. Let me give you the short version. My mom and dad had a high school education. My second great grandfather was a slave. I've mentioned him already, George Young. He escaped slavery, Emancipation Proclamation, went to go fight for the Union Army in Memphis, Tennessee. Same place that Dr. King was assassinated. My second great grandmother was also a slave. She escaped slavery, bought her own home, and had a boarder, had a renter, owned a mortgage, or had a house with no mortgage on it. That's where I got my home ownership bones from. Let me tell you about how role modeling works here. So second great grandfather on the father's side was this freedom fighter about self-reliance. My grandfather, R.B. Smith, was a sharecropper. My father, Johnny Smith, owned his own business. I'm an entrepreneur. You didn't get this yet. On my mother's side, second great grandmother owns she owns a shack, a house with no mortgage on it, has a boarder, a renter. My grandmother, Miss Murray, had a shotgun shack in East St. Louis, where she raised my mother and her sisters. My mother owned 7 homes, I own 700. I'm not a genius. I'm role modeling. Why does a kid in our neighborhood want to be a rap star, an athlete, or a drug dealer? The kid's not dumb and they're not stupid. They are brilliant. They're modeling what they see. You see how easy this is? We got to give them something different to see. What do you think a drug dealer is? It's illegal, it's immoral, there's a special place in hell for somebody who constantly sells death to your own community. I'm not endorsing the business plan. What I'm saying is they're not dumb. They understand import, export, finance, marketing, wholesale, retail, customer service, security, territory, logistics. They're a frustrated entrepreneur with a bad business plan. What is a gang leader if not a frustrated union organizer? I'm trying to get you to see your greatness. You know NASCAR came from? Moonshine running in the Appalachian Mountains. These are white, poor people trying to make a living just like you. They were running moonshine and running from the police. They realized both of those things were not sustainable. At some point, it's prison, probation, parole, or death. So they said, what good is of what I'm doing? What's valuable? Can't do the moonshine running. I can't run from the police. I can drive. It's literally what happened. They went from driving in the hills to driving on the beach to driving in a circle to then charging somebody a fee for them watching them driving in a circle. And today, those same families are worth $300 million each. Am I talking to myself? No. My mom and dad moved to South Central LA. I was there yesterday. High school education, lots of talent. My dad's financially illiterate but has hustle. My dad and my mother get together. They own a gas station, an 8-unit apartment building. They bought for $18,000, worth $6 million. Today, their own home, cement contracting business, nursery business. I mean, they were balling. Unfortunately, as Ambassador Young said, men and women fail for 3 reasons: arrogance, pride, and greed. You guys, I hope you're writing some of this down. Men and women fail for 3 reasons: arrogance, pride, and greed. My daddy was not greedy, but he was full of pride, which means he would not ask my mother for the right kind of help. My dad could make it, my mother could keep it. Let me help you on a relationship model. A giver and a giver is exotic. A giver and a taker is neurotic. A taker and a taker is psychotic. Am I going too fast for you? This is your relationship model. A giver and a giver is exotic. That's the only thing I deal with. A giver and a taker, most of our relationships, are neurotic. That's why you're arguing so much over stupid stuff. Because people forget their roles. And the worst, a taker and a taker is psychotic. Don't get upset because you're arguing with your mate. She's a male, she's a female, you're a male. You're different. The question is, are you better together? Which is what I said before. So somebody gets to make the money, somebody gets to make the money and spend the money. If you're not making the money, you got to manage the money. But what you cannot do is just spend the money. Is this taped? You guys taping this? You filming this? So you guys can get some of this on replay. I'm going real fast. Is this okay? All right. I'm trying to cover a lot of ground in a little bit of time. I want to leave you with a business plan. Okay? Not rhetoric, a plan to transform your life. So I've just covered relationships, right? A couple times. And I'm telling you this because my mom and my dad had it wrong. My dad could make it. He was a hustler, but he was financially illiterate. That means when he bid for a job for construction, he thought that cash flow matters. Cash flow, money, the bag, the dollar, don't mean anything. All money is a means of transferring value. That's it. You make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep. You make money during the day. That's why they call it making a living. It's right in front of you. Making a living. It's a W-2. It's a paycheck for making a living. It is a low-risk form of capitalism. I'm going to trade my labor and my talent for a paycheck, but I don't have to take the entrepreneurial risk that this may fail, which is what a business owner does, or what an entrepreneur does, which is the craziest form of capitalism, is me. A gig worker is the lowest form of risk in capitalism because you come and go as you please, but you got no benefits. You got How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, my 3rd book. So when we get in the Q&A, figure out what you want me to attack. But I just gave you a very quick 90 seconds on capitalism. You're all capitalists. People say, oh, I hate rich people. No, you don't. You hate rich people until you become rich. Knock it off. What you hate is a game system. What you hate is a system. Well, that's a bad brother. I don't know what you do. I'm not leaving you alone. What you hate, the mayor must be around. What you hate is a game system. What you hate is a system that no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, you can't get ahead. That's what you hate. I understand that. So my daddy would bid a job for $1,000 because the other guy bid it at $1,100. No, you bid a job based on the cost of the job plus the markup of administration plus a profit margin, and if you win the job based on your ability to compete, then so be it. That's not what my dad did. So his outflow, when your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. I'm doing this quick. When your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. By the way, business is not personal. Capitalism is a gladiator sport. Take the emotions out of it. Emotions have got nothing to do with it. Here's what capitalism is. I'm on one side of a table, the mayor's on the other side of the table. And the mayor is the producer, he's got the contract, and I'm the consumer. I want the contract. The mayor's job is to get the most value from me he can while paying me the least. That's his job. My job is to extract the most money I can while giving the least value. That's my job. We're both doing a good negotiation is where everybody leaves the table slightly annoyed and irritated. Knock it off. Stop trying to ask the mayor to do stuff that's crazy. Stop trying to get negotiating deals where you expect somebody to do you a favor. Favor ain't got nothing to do with it. Some of my brothers in the entertainment business, yeah, I went off script. Some of my people in the entertainment business, I'll get back to it. So, these Jews are trying to take my money. No, you signed a bad contract. Why are you picking on Jews, by the way? By the way, Jews, blacks, Middle Eastern, same DNA. Don't trust me? Go back 6,000 years. Same region, same DNA. Most Jews are dark, by the way. But we decide to focus on culture, they decide to focus on commerce. We master culture. If we say it's cool in Taipei. If we say it's dud in North Korea. We mastered it. But that's not that's performing on the stage. That's not owning the stage. So some people are like, I don't want to pay no attention to this contract. I just want to perform. I'm a music producer. I'm a magic maker. No, you're going to be broke. If I'm paying attention to the contract and I got my lawyer looking at it, and you're looking at the girl walking by, unfocused, 5 years later when you're broke, you don't get to come back to me and complain that you were undone. No. I undid you at the negotiating table. That was my job. Am I getting too deep? No. You should have got a lawyer, just like I had, and had them review that contract. Because business is not personal. You can't play this game unless you understand the rules. You can't expect your mayor to hook you up. He'll be indicted. Did you forget you black in America? Stop putting undue stress on your leaders. Am I going too deep? Back to my story. I'm gonna get through this real quick. I know you never want to be the old guy in the club. So before y'all kick me out, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna drop the mic and walk off the stage. You don't have to worry about me overstaying my welcome. I know you want to get to the mayor and everybody else. Are we good so far? Yeah. So let me round the corner here. So finish this story. I didn't get the story of my parents. So dad's trying to make some cash. My mother is a great investor. He won't listen to her. So make a long story short, my mother had saved some money. My dad abused it. She left him. It was domestic abuse. They fought when I was 4 years old. I saw it. She leaves him. We go to live with her girlfriend. She told me it was my auntie. We stay there. I'm falling on the porch. I'm choking. This man named OC, who was the boyfriend of my mother's girlfriend, cleared my throat passage, saved my life. The story has in context. He saves my life. The guy saves my life as a black man. I'm looking at him every day like he's my hero. Every day, my mother stays with him, with her girlfriend to save money to buy her first house. She works at McDonnell Douglas Aircraft, which is now Boeing Aircraft. She makes $15, $18 an hour. I'm sitting on the porch waiting for my mother to come home and OC to come home because he's my hero, he saved my life. In order to make some extra money, because he couldn't take care of their family and ours, and didn't want to talk to my mother to come up with a business deal where she shared in the expenses, which she would have done. What did I tell you? Men and women fail for 3 reasons: arrogance, pride, greed. This guy was, a lot of us, full of pride. He goes to sell marijuana around the corner. He's riding a bicycle back to the house. The real drug dealers, who took this seriously, followed him back home and waited for him to get right in front of the house. I'm on the porch. Hits him from behind. The truck was raised, so you could see it. Drags him down the street and the bicycle. Mangles the body and the bicycle right in front of the house to send a message to us. Murdered him right in front of me. I can see it. I'm 6 years old. That was about money. The divorce was about, number one cause of divorce? That's why I say financial literacy is a civil rights issue of this generation. Fast forward, my best friend George, I wanted to be like him. George didn't have good role models. He didn't have a father who brought him to events like this. George wanted to be like the next door neighbor of mine, which is Tweet, was the drug dealer. He started walking like Tweet, talking like Tweet, acting like Tweet, and got shot and killed with Tweet. Now I'm 9 years old. That was about. So I'm now getting the memo. We want the money, but we don't know how to go and get it the right way. We want success, but our role models are all screwed up. We want to take a shortcut to get there, but the shortcut ends up shorting our lives. So I'm now curious, I'm nosy. Quincy Jones, how'd you get so smart? I'm just nosy as heck. I want to know everything about everything. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk. I'm nosy. To this day, I'm nosy. So I'm go to school, and this, God, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. This white banker comes in my classroom, 1977, first year of Community Reinvestment Act. I guarantee you, your mayor knows what the CRA is. Yep. First year of CRA. You got to write this stuff down, folks. First year of CRA, this banker comes in the classroom. He didn't want to be there, and we didn't want him there to teach financial literacy. First day comes with 1 day a week for 6 weeks. First day, he hates us, I hate him. Second week, we're like, you kids are not so bad. You sort of remind me of my knucklehead kids. You're not so bad for a white dude. We're building a relationship. Third week, he comes in, I got a suit on just like him. It was a suit my mother made for me to go to Sunday service. It was a crushed velvet, velour, 3-piece suit with a ruffled shirt and a big bow tie. No, it wasn't black and gold, it was purple. And I got beat up every single day. But I was an eagle. I had a little briefcase with my dreams in it. And I'm walking around with pride. I'm trying to be like this banker. Fourth session, I say, raise my hand. Sir, what do you do for a living and how'd you get rich? I'm dead serious. He said, I'm a banker and I finance entrepreneurs. I said, I don't know what an entrepreneur is, but if it's legal and you're financing it, I'm going to be one. I went and opened up the dictionary for the word entrepreneur. Google search today. Build something from nothing. That's what I want to be. Sir, any more bankers like you in the country? There's tens of thousands of bankers, maybe millions of them. And your job is to lend poor people money? Yes. And I don't get dead or I don't pay you back, which is my experience in Compton. No, I give you a notice of default. You give me a piece of paper if I don't pay you back. Sign me up. You think about what I'm doing today. Think about what I'm doing today. I've invested $4.8 billion in our communities. I'm the largest financial literacy organization in America. I have 1,500 offices in 42 states, including this state. I have 400 full-time employees. My payroll is $1.5 million every 2 weeks. I'm the largest black, male-founded, community-based, nonprofit organization in American history. Ever. 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 Sure. So then I went and built a real estate company so I'd have my own wealth. And I use the power of financial literacy. No hookup from the mayor, no hookup from no gift, no nothing. I used financial literacy and started a real estate company in Georgia in 2017 with nothing. I grew it from 2017 to 2021 to $151 million. I sold it for $121 million, took a 38% back-end interest through a joint venture with the new buyers. I was the largest owner of single-family rental real estate in America then and now. I just sold that company. I'm not trying to get out of that joint venture because I don't like the way the people who bought it run it. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. I don't like the way they're running it, and I don't like the way they're using my brand. I didn't get angry. I didn't complain. We're not getting into a fight. It's business. By the way, they paid me $121 million for me to be happy. I'm really happy. When I closed that deal, I got a $200 million credit facility. It was called non-recourse debt from Barings Financial, which is an institutional player. We got $100 million of non-recourse debt from Citigroup to refinance the portfolio. That non-recourse means I don't personally guarantee it. But I had sold the company, so really it's the responsibility of the new owners. But I became chairman of the new company. I didn't like that they were running the company, so I resigned from my own company last year. They're working in a way that I really don't like now. So within the next 2 months, you'll get a notice. You'll see it's announced that John Bryant has left the company completely. By the way, if I got to leave the company with money on the table to keep my integrity and my name, I'll do that too. All money is freedom. That's all it is. I've signed up with a new company. I can't yet say who it is, CIM Group, and they're about $30 billion. I can't give you the details, but I can tell you within 2 years, it'll be $1 billion entity. All of this is standing right in front of you, up from nothing. Up from nothing. Operation Hope works on joint ventures. I heard you guys talk about collaborations, and that's really beautiful. No. The mayor has got to say that, right? He got elected, he wants you to like him. I don't need you to like me. I don't care. It's okay if you don't like me. I like me. I'm going to tell you what he cannot tell you. Get the word collaboration out of your head. You want to collaborate with each other, get along with each other. I want you to do joint ventures. A joint venture is where 2 + 2 = 10. It's like a good relationship. It's like a good marriage. You're better together. Now, I don't have time to get into the structures of joint ventures, but you should look it up on your phone and get your head around what a joint venture looks like. That's how Atlanta built itself, with black entrepreneurs working with mainstream companies. And you can do this, Newark can do this better than Atlanta because you're next to Manhattan. You're the coast that leads to Europe. You've got so many advantages. Now, one thing I want everybody here to do, you've been passed around a piece of paper. You've got to focus on one thing. It's not police brutality, it's not racism, it's not bias, all the stuff you're hearing on there, ignore it all. I want you to focus on your credit score. The mayor cannot help you if your credit is toe up from the flow up. Oh, you guys getting real quiet. Let me help you out. The average credit score for Black America is 620. Okay, let me help you out more. That means that me and the mayor and the brothers over here, our credit scores are like 780, 800. Pookie and them's credit score is 500, 420, and Pookie and them is dragging down the 800 to an average of 620. That means in English that when you wake up in the morning, half of Black America is locked out of the free enterprise system. I'll make this very blunt. A bank cannot give you a decent car loan at 620. You cannot get a home loan at 620. 680 maybe, 700. You cannot get a small business loan, it's risky credit, below 700. Are you listening to me? You think the bank is racism. You think that they don't like you. They like green. They like a loan that pays back. My brother's like, oh, John Bryant talking about home ownership. I don't own the home. The bank owns the home. If you don't pay, If I loan you money for a home and you don't pay me back, I'm going to own your home. I want you to get your credit score up. Operation Hope is moving credit scores 54 points in 6 months, 120 points in 24 months. Nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. Operation Hope is moving credit scores 54 points in 6 months, 120 points in 24 months. We're moving debt down $3,800, savings up $1,200 in 6 months. That makes you bankable. You go to the local auto dealership and you want a Mercedes and you got a 500 credit score, you're not getting a Mercedes, you're getting a Mercedes payments. I'm giving you guys good stuff. It's going right over your heads. If you go in our neighborhoods, okay, where's 07108? Upper Clinton Hill? Okay, that's a 618 credit score. 07110, it's a 730 credit score. Nutley? Am I talking to myself or you? Yeah, okay. These are 15 minutes apart? Okay. By the way, I've mapped every zip code in America by credit score. The data is always the same. I just saw this, by the way. Here's what you see. This is actually not so bad. In 07108, credit score is 618. 07110, credit score is 730. Median household income in 07108, 33,000. In 07110, 115,000. Unemployment rate, 11% versus 5%. Home ownership rate, listen now, 17% versus 68%. What's the number one way you build wealth in America? It's not complicated. The entire tax policy is designed around home ownership. Median home value, you can probably guess this, is higher in 0118 by over $150,000. Violent crimes per thousand, look at that, 5.4 versus 1.3. High school graduation, this is actually not so bad. High school graduation rate, 84% versus 94%. 94% basically means you went to college. What I typically find in these communities, Mayor, is that the graduation rate from high school is 60%. Life expectancy, 72 years versus 82 years. What I typically find, if you're in a 500 credit score neighborhood, listen now, you live to 61 years of age. This is bad enough. This is 10 years. 10 years and 15 minutes. But if you live in a 500 credit score neighborhood, you live to 61 years of age. 15 minutes away, you live to 81 years. 20-year difference. Here's what you see. Now, I don't know your neighborhood. I intentionally didn't drive through it. Think about a 500 credit score neighborhood. Get it in your head. Now, if I don't get this right, kick me out. Okay? If I don't get this right, agree, kick me out right now. Agree? Okay. 500 credit score neighborhood. Check casher. Next to a payday loan lender. Next to a rent-to-own store. Next to a title lender, car title. Next to a liquor store, depression. Next to a pawn shop, and a church down the street. Huh?
Pharmacy.
I don't really mind the pharmacy, but yes, fast food restaurants. Listen, they're target marketing. Andrew Young said, to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. To live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. Here's my message to you, and I'm done. It's not black or white anymore. It's not red or blue. It's green, which means you can do it. If you get if Black America gets its credit score up, and you guys want to do Q&A? Yes? I'm going to talk for 4 more minutes, and I'm open up for questions if they say it's okay. Have you enjoyed this? Yes. Here's your business plan. Here's your business plan. Let's see if it lines up with the mayor's vision for this city. I wrote this. You can download it. Go to Dream Forward on my website. Everything I told you is available in the public domain. Everything. You go to the website for Operation Hope, everything's there. You go to Dream Forward, download the business plan for Black America. I wrote it, it's available to you right now. Here's what it says. Please listen. If the government gives you reparations, The federal government gives you reparations, which is, by the way, $41 trillion. It will never happen. The government will go broke. It'll bankrupt the whole nation. But if they gave you reparations, maybe they give you $300 billion to $600 billion over 20 years. You go, here's the problem with that. If you're financially illiterate, and I take all the wealth in the world, and I give it to everybody in the world, in 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, we'll have it all back. Because you don't understand how money works. So, I just told you what happens with reparations. What did I tell you? Number is 300 billion or 600 billion. Put that aside. If you raise your credit score 100 points in the next 5 years, that's worth $750 billion in wealth. You take the credit score and buy a home. Move from 44% home ownership to 62% home ownership. It's not a big number, not a big shift. That number, $800 billion. What's 750 and 800 billion? 1.5 trillion. You then buy, we don't have time for this, you have all these baby boomers who are about to retire. All the white, wealthy baby boomers in the next 20 years are playing golf at the same time. They're older and they're all retiring at the same time. They're gonna give their wealth to their daughters, their sons, their wives. That's the stocks, the bonds, the houses, the cash. The kids don't want the businesses. There's about $15 trillion of profitable businesses. They're in Newark. They're architecture firms, they're law firms, they're accounting firms, they're dentist offices, not big ones, doing $5 million, $10 million a year. They have a customer lists, they have real estate, they got plans. You guys want me to stop? Got it. Got it. Got it. Let me just finish this sentence. I got happy, I'm sorry. It messed up what my thought was. What did I just say? Okay, that's worth $1 trillion. The AI revolution, that's another $1 trillion. I didn't mention government one time. That's all I have to say. Why are you obsessing on what Washington, D.C. is doing? That's their problem. That's their problem. Mind your business, pay your mortgage, pay your car note, pay your city taxes, help the mayor, volunteer in your city council, volunteer in your school, volunteer in your community. All the GDP comes from cities anyway. In the whole country. They got you messed up. I'll end where I started. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. You've been run amok. You've been fooled. You've been confused. Get the emotions out of it. America cannot win without you. I don't want to leave. I got to get out of here. When we get back to that, whatever. Let them speak first. I'll do the Q&A after the mayor. Hold on, wait a minute. This is one of the most amazing mayors in the United States of America. Give him some love.
Yeah, I want y'all to do the Q&A. Please sit down. I want y'all to do the Q&A because a lot of times people come before us and we don't ask them the right questions. We listen to people or we get stuff and we go and we don't ask any questions. People come before us, they have money. We don't talk to them about the contracts. We don't talk about anything. We just go about our business. This man has a wealth of knowledge and information. We need to be asking him some right questions. You got an opportunity to be in his presence. You get what you can get out of it. First, I just want to thank all of y'all for coming out here today. Some people couldn't stay later, but I'm glad it's standing room only for something like. I'm glad it's like this. We're not at a concert. Nobody up here twerking. We're not giving out free beer, free liquor. You know what I mean? This is not this type of thing, and this place is jam-packed. There are more people in here than in some clubs and lounges that are in the city in the evening. That means that you guys want something better for yourselves. That's why I don't believe all of the stuff they say about us. We want information. We want it right. We want to do the right thing. We want to get what we're supposed to get. We just need the right people in front of us to give us the information so we can go ahead and do something about what we have. We never been dumb. We never been weak. We never been punks. We not those type of people. We run around trying to prove to people that we not punks, that we smarter than everybody, that we tough. We never been that. We don't have to prove to nobody we tough. We don't have to prove to nobody you smart. You have to prove anything to anybody. The only thing you have to do is build your own self and your own family. That's it. You got to prove nothing to nobody. God made you strong. He made you beautiful. He gave you courage. All of those things. You have to have courage to live in our communities, to build and do the things you have to do with nothing. You have to have courage. 5 people on one isn't courage. The 6 people surrounding 2 people ain't courage. Courage is trying to support and build your family and stay with what you're doing when you have absolutely nothing. When you're trying your best to create something from that and raise your children in an environment that keeps them safe and well, and be a role model for them in an environment that's trying to crush you, right? And figuring it out and being creative about it, like going to work with your head up every day, or not going to work, building something for yourself every day and taking the risk to do that, to me is courage. And I appreciate all you brothers and sisters for coming out, because we always have men's meetings with sisters because they show up. I appreciate that. Lastly, I do like the fact that people are trying to figure this business thing out. There are a lot of people in our community who think business means talking about other people on the internet. That's what they think, because they figure they got us so low now, we just trying to get likes on YouTube, because if we get a certain amount of likes, maybe we'll get a check. That's what's happening. Then we go back and forth at each other, and our kids are doing it, and they turn that into violence, into shootings, because they're going back and forth on a tool, trying to murder each other over something that has nothing to do with wealth. Let me say this, and I'm say why this is a problem. I'm in the middle of this election. Y'all know that, right? So, I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. 2 reasons. One, I was at a debate or a forum they asked us about the wealth gap. The wealth gap in New Jersey, was at $300,000 during COVID. That means that the average wealth for white families was $300,000. For black families, it was about $20,000. Since COVID, that number has doubled. So now the average wealth for white families in New Jersey is $600,000. And for black families, it's still about $20,000. So it's doubled, right? At the basis of that, so they asked us about that. And I'm going to tell you, they asked us about that. And the Congresswoman says that in her explanation was that we needed to learn how to read in the 3rd grade. Now listen, I don't disagree with the fact that we need to learn how to read, and we need to go to school, and we need to be studious, and we need to learn. But what she either purposefully didn't explain to us or just doesn't know is that you could be dumb as a doornail in some instances and have wealth that's inherited to you from people who had wealth before you was born. So if I have homes and businesses and so forth and so on, I pass it down. Now you got to keep it, of course. Got to be smart enough to keep it. But at the end of the day, you could start off with something, right? You could get this wealth. You can listen to the President of the United States, who sound like he can't put 3 sentences together. But he got more. But he has more wealth than all of us probably put together without John in the room. In this room, right? And so what that means is that you have people who are vying to be in charge who don't understand that or understand the obstacles that were placed in our way, so we couldn't get wealth. And so that's why these conversations are important, because it really is an opportunity to move some of these obstacles out of our way and to create wealth for our own families and for our own selves while we're out here doing this. That we're not out here making jokes on one another for free, like we're not a clown for free. Like we're not out here hurting each other over dollars, which is really a tool to get wealth. Because we murder each other over stuff that they print on a machine. And when I started thinking about that and put that in my head, then it makes me feel like, well, what are we doing here? For $150, for $300, you lose your life and somebody else's life for $1,500. Hell, for $10,000 that you could spend in a weekend. Because you can't give that $10,000. I can't give it to my son. If I died, the $10,000 I got, if I was getting that salary, I can't pass it off to him. He's not gonna, it don't do him no good if I don't build anything off of that, right? So I'm glad you're listening, taking notes. We figuring this out. We building something here. We want to continue to build something here. And, you know, they got us all mixed up. We divided by city. We divided by hood. I was in Trenton at the barbershop. I told them we was having, I said, Trenton guys, come on up. Where the Trenton guys at? We in here? Yes, sir. Shout out to the Trenton guys. I told the Trenton guys to come up because we doing this together. There's no, you know, they separate, oh, you Trenton, you from Newark, you from Camden. No, we from the same place. Y'all can't, we ain't getting caught up in that no more. Y'all used to fool us with that. We ain't fooled by that no more. We from everywhere we go. I could go anywhere. Everywhere you go, you should understand that we family. We already messed up in the cities that we at already, from this neighborhood to that neighborhood to this neighborhood to that neighborhood. When you know your mama lived over there, her boyfriend lived there, you got a kid that lived there, an aunt that lived there. You from the whole doggone city. They split you up and got you fighting over territory you don't even own. You own one block, one house, one business on a block you dying for that you claiming, but you don't own it because they come knock the block down and you got to move whatever they tell you to move to, and then you're going to have a reunion in a parking lot where you used to live at. You know that's the truth. They knock your school down. They'll change the name of your school. You mean you dying over a block named after somebody you ain't never met? And all your children, and you teaching them to be a part of something based on a block with a name up there, you don't even know where it came from. And about 500 people in your community died to protect a name that don't got nothing to do with you. And more importantly, when that name get wealth, you don't got a part of any of that. Now you're gonna tell me to fight my brother because he's from Trenton, or you from Camden, or you from Patterson, or you from Jersey City, or you from Plainfield? Nah. We ain't doing that no more. This is a dangerous room. This is a dangerous room. It's a dangerous room because all of y'all are in it, and there's some information up here. It's dangerous, very, very, very dangerous room, right? I came in here, there's a whole bunch of reporters outside. They outside because they concerned about me being back because I'm formerly incarcerated. You know what I mean? I got to join my man Chino's group over there. Get me a t-shirt or sweatshirt or something, you heard? That's what they concerned about. They concerned me coming in here, they want me to talk to them about, you know, my escapade in lockup. Listen, let me tell you something, man. We was born locked up. We trying to unlock that. They're not concerned about all of y'all in here. That's the point that I'm making. They're concerned about that. They're not concerned about all of y'all in here because they don't think we doing nothing in here. They don't think what's happening. They don't, you know, you got 3,000 people, mostly black men, in a room plotting. But they're not concerned about our plot because they don't think it's going to amount to anything, because when we leave here, they're going to foster our divisions again and get us back to business as usual. Get us back to business as usual. If you got 4 million, 2 million followers on your page, then you should be using that to transform our communities. Period. Period. That's what you should be doing. That's the importance of it. The power that you have in this room is incredible and expansive. We got to use it. We so busy thinking we're nothing, so we're trying to prove to each other that we're something. If you know you were something when you was born, then you got to prove nothing to anybody. Then you don't have that kind of pride. The humility is with you because you know God has made me as powerful as he made the next man. That when I close my eyes, I can see all kind of things just like you. There's dreams that I have that I can bring into fruition like everybody else. And the more dangerous thing is if we get smart enough and we start working with each other, then we could be more powerful than we think. It's not enough because you're in Newark and these guys are in Trenton, it's not enough to talk to each other so y'all can control each other's blocks. What you should be trying to do is open a business in Newark and Trenton. That's what you're supposed to be doing, but we can't do that because we don't trust each other. The reality, instead, we just talk to each other. We just want to be safe walking through the blocks. I got 30 people in the hood. Who cares if they're not producing anything? You got 30 unproductive workers that work for you. The reality is, if you got people all over the state of New Jersey, they should be building businesses. You should have a conglomerate of things going on around here, right? Legally. So they can't stop it and chase you. Look, man, I was in that place for 4 hours. I don't know how y'all do it for 30 years. I can't do it for 40 more minutes. I was in there mad at everybody. I had to use the bathroom. They say, I can't use this thing. Listen, let me tell you something. We need to stay away from there. Stay away from there. That place would be half empty if we didn't go. Refuse to go. Say you're not going back. Refuse to go. Don't go. Boycott jail. Don't go. Don't be a part of it. You want these people to lose their jobs? Don't go to jail. Stop paying them. Stop paying them. Don't go there no more. Don't go back there. Stay away from there. It's not for us. They designed it for you. Stay away. You want to be revolutionary? Don't go to jail. Stay away from that place. It's a dangerous place, and it's designed to make us zombies. Destroy our communities and our families. Stay away from there. And when you get out of there, if you've been there, you should advocate other people staying away from there. Stay away. 100,000%. And then build something outside of there. Make it obsolete. Make it obsolete. That's what I'm telling you, right? Please, for all of us, do that, right? Do it. And I appreciate all of you guys. I'm about to get out of here. I got to go to another event. I appreciate y'all for coming out. Let's give the brother John another round of Brian another round of applause. He's going to answer some questions. Oh, 6. He's going to answer some questions for us.
Before the mayor leaves, we want everybody to grab their shirt real quick and just hold it up. We want to take a picture just to show how strong we are. Just hold your shirt up high. We want to take.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't say it's the first time I saw those.
You want to announce something before you leave? You want to announce?
So everybody, take a seat for 1 minute. I got something to say about the mayor for you. This is really important. I don't think that you appreciate what's going on here. I've been all around this country. I don't know another black mayor. I don't know another black mayor who's had a term like this. No financial shenanigans, no scandals, no drama. He's rocking with his family when he comes to events. The GDP for Newark has increased during his term. Listen now, the population of Newark, New Jersey. I only know 2 black mayors who can say this. Andre Dickens in Atlanta, and this mayor, Baraka, in Newark, I don't know another mayor. You've had population increases of Newark since he's been mayor. That means people are coming to the city. They're seeing opportunity. I want to help you. So Shopify and Operation Hope have this thing called 1 Million Black Business Initiative. Shopify committed $190 million to me to create a million new black businesses in America by 2030. I'm going to allocate $1 million of that to the mayor.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
Come on, let's give him another round of applause, y'all. Nobody ever, Charlemagne ain't do that. We got to call Charlemagne. Charlemagne. Yes, sir.
All right, at this point, we're going to transition into the Q&A. So I hope you've been thinking about your questions. We do want to move along the process because our brother doesn't have a lot of time. You guys can take your seats. So if you have a really good question, a well-formed question, brother, you go to the brothers. Abdul is going to go to you with the question. We are screening your questions just to let you know that. If it doesn't make sense to us, Brother Abby, move on to the next person.
We're going to start right here with this brother.
My name is Fred Davis, and I'm the president of the Newark Alphas here in Newark, New Jersey. And my question is about the tax code. And particularly when Barack Obama ran for president, he showed that his tax rate was like 40% over a couple years. He ran against Mitt Romney, who showed 1 year his was, I think, 10%. Next year it was 12%. And then the year that he ran, it was 14% because he foregoed his charitable contributions. And the reason why was he was an investor, what you talked about. He was an investor. So the tax rate for investors are low versus someone who's a W-2 earner who could be taxed at the highest rate at 37%. So my question is that something we should be focused on in terms of changing the tax code so it's easier for, or it's not as taxing on folks who are W-2 earners?
Hold on one second. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to leave if you're done with me. We cool? You want to stay for a minute? So just do us a favor. You guys can socialize. Let's get organized for just another 15 minutes, and then I'll be out of your hair. So everybody, let's take a seat. Let's be professional and just focus. The brother has a really good question. I want to respect that. I want to also tell you a little gift to take. A little gift of wealth for you to take home. He reminded me of the tax code. Somebody in here knows somebody making $65,000 or less. If you make $38,000 and you've got 3 kids, the federal government owes you through the Earned Income Tax Credit. They owe you $7,500 cash. If you qualify for EITC, but you've never filed, it's retroactive for 3 years. Yes, that's almost $20,000. I'll say this again, I'll answer your question. I'm trying to give you some things to take home right now. 1 out of 4 Americans who qualify for EITC never asked for it. You don't have a tax pro. I'm telling you, I know the numbers in Newark. This is a big number here. Somebody you know, maybe you, makes less than $65,000 a year. If you make less than $65,000 a year and you never heard of EITC, you have a check coming. Go to my team at Operation Hope. They will help you refile your tax return, and the government will wire you your money. The more money you make, the less dependents, the smaller the check. The more dependents, the smaller the income, the bigger the check. The sweet spot is $38,000 to $40,000 a year and 3 children. If you've never heard of Earned Income Tax Credit, you've got a check coming. Go home, ask everybody in your family, have you ever heard of EITC? If they say no, you guys should collectively get together, file for EITC as a family, create an LLC, a limited liability corporation, put part of the money in the LLC, part of the money to pay down high interest rate credit cards and debt, right? Pay off that car loan, take part of that money, buy a home in Newark with the down payment. Use that as your down payment. Go to banks, get the CRA loans that I talked to you about before with your high credit score, and you do that, plus get a will, which is a one-page will, get a term life insurance policy, which you can get a $100,000 policy for $20 a month in decent health, which means I don't know how long you're gonna die, I don't know when you're gonna die, but I know you're not gonna live forever. That means you get generational wealth when you direct that to your descendants. But if you just do what I just said about EITC in the home, you do that 3 times, you'll be a millionaire in 5 years. Now, that was quick. Write it down, earned income tax credit. Your question about tax code, very important. I'll do this really quick. When Warren Buffett says, I pay more taxes than my secretary, that's because his secretary pays taxes. He doesn't. When you're a W-2 employee, you pay taxes. When you're a capital gains person like me, what I pay my money, when I buy some real estate and I sell it, that's called a capital gain. When I build a business and I sell it, that's a capital gain. People who are wealthy don't want W-2 income. So when you hear politicians say that rich people pay less taxes than poor people, it's just not true. 70% of all taxes come from people like me. It's a different kind of tax. A capital gains tax is 20%. A W-2 tax with state and local and federal could be as high as 40 to 50%. So it's just a different way to go about it. I pay both because I have an income and I have capital gains. My goal in the next 3 to 5 years is to have no income. So I pay no income tax. And I pay a capital gains tax when I sell some stocks, I sell some bonds, I sell some real estate. Here's the game that people play. This is on my podcast this week. Here's the game that wealthy play. You buy the asset, you borrow modestly against the asset. You pay no taxes on loans. Did you get that? Right? And then you die. And you have a trust where you pass that on to your descendants. You pay no taxes. So you want to pay all legal taxes. If you owe it, I don't want to have any problems with the IRS. If you owe the taxes, pay it. But you shouldn't pay more than you have to. That's called tax planning. So great question. Thank you. All right, you guys are doing the questions here.
Question?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hello, Mr. Bryan. My name is Xander.
He has a question back here. Yeah.
I'm 20 years old. I moved from Kansas City, Missouri to Newark, New Jersey about a year ago. I work for a real estate private equity firm. We actually just got a 15,000 square foot office in this building here. And my question to you would be, what is your message to the youth, to Gen Z, to other 20-year-olds like myself?
If you can't get a job, create one. So entrepreneurship and small business is how you create wealth. I said you create wealth in your sleeps. Stocks, bonds, home ownership, small business. So you buy a house because it costs just as much to rent as it does to buy. Buy a home because it will appreciate in value. If you can't get the job you want, create the job by owning a business. Most wealth creation is going to come from your generation being business owners. Be obsessed with education. Make smart sexy again. Stop hanging out with broke people. If you hang around with 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th. So you got to really focus and get the noise out of your life. Remember what I said earlier about eagles don't fly in packs? Buzzards love packs. There's a lot of buzzards hanging around with buzzards. So when people are giving you advice about what you shouldn't do or should do, consider the source. A lot of people giving you advice don't know what they're talking about. And most of these social influencers are broke. That's my advice.
If you have a question, we're just going to ask you to move over here so that way we can see you, so that way it's easier.
Are you enjoying this? Yes, sir. I'm going to try to do this real quick.
It's my 3rd time hearing you speak. I saw you in the International Leadership Conference, and
Yep.
You did the TD
I love TD.
Yeah. So I'm a young entrepreneur. I own a healthcare company for the last 8 years, And currently this year, I'm purchasing 120 homes.
Person 120 units?
120 homes, and I have an opportunity right now that I submitted a contract in to purchase 2,000 parcels of land. And I want to see, do you offer mentorship personally?
Well, I don't have time to do it, but if you're buying 120 homes, so send a note to bill.fair@operationhope.org, bill.fair, F-A-I-R, at operationhope.org. This is my deputy chief of staff, and tell them what you told me. And if you send them the contract, send them all the information.
You said Bill.
Bill, you gotta do this quick, man. You gotta be quick.
yeah.
Bill.fair at operationhope.org. Somebody else wrote it down, and I'll try to give you 15 minutes on the phone. Let me just say, that's significant what he just said. But I want you to buy one home, right? Just buy one home. You don't have to blow it out. Just buy one home. But what you just said is very significant, and I commend you for that. I'll try to find a 15-minute slot. Typically, I mentor through social media on my channels, but I'll try. Yeah, but I'll be fine. So basically what he said was, it's time for me to leave. You want me to stay for a couple minutes?
Yes.
I'll try to, on my way out, I'm gonna shake some hands, take some pictures. Don't worry about that. Yes.
I call you Dr. Hope. I met you a while ago, about 15 years ago. I met you in Central Park West, where you signed this book
yeah.
for me when you wrote this, right?
Yep.
I appreciate that. I am a student of that, of what you talk about. I grew up right here in the city.
Yep.
My wife and I got upset when the landlord told us that we couldn't sit on the front porch. From 2004 to 2008, we purchased over $3 million in real estate in Irvington and Newark.
Wow.
Right here. Unfortunately, I was one of those millionaires that was financially illiterate.
Yeah,
I did not
no
understand
worries.
how money,
It's okay.
how our monetary system works, so
Yeah.
I lost 80% of that wealth.
No problem.
From 2017 to today, I've been teaching in this city for free foundational financial literacy, what I call it.
Good.
What I want to do, I want to work with you, Mr. Hope. I call you Dr. Hope.
Yeah.
Teaching our community the future of cryptocurrency. The reason for this is because the Office of Comp Controller just gave banks the authority to indulge in cryptocurrency.
I got you.
The FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance
wait,
Corporation.
just
did
so we
it.
can get through a lot of these.
Okay, I want to work with you to help teach our community.
Listen to my podcast this week or next week. I cover cryptocurrency. Get a hold of my team. Get a hold of Bill Fair, same email address, and we'll see what we can do. I don't want you using. Listen to me now. Black people are the biggest investors in cryptocurrency. Listen to me now. Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you straight. There are people getting wealthy in cryptocurrency. I'm not saying that. That's certainly the case. You might be one of them. Black people are the biggest investors in cryptocurrency. We're the biggest losers. 80 to 90% of all cryptocurrency coins are out of business. So he's right that it is a gold mine, but it's not for everybody. Don't use your rent money buying crypto. So if based on what he said already, I trust that he is a stable person, so I'm willing to listen to him. But this is something you're gonna walk into, don't run into. It's a wild, wild west. So the gentleman who talked about real estate before, the reason that I bought all that real estate is that I get in control of the contracts. I can hire plumbers, electricians, painters, roofers, lighters, and these are minority vendors who look like me. So the bigger I build my real estate, I normally don't say this in public. The bigger I build my real estate portfolio, the more people I can hire who look like me and give them contracts. Because I can't give you philanthropy, I can't give you charity all day, it won't last. So I'm trying to build $1 billion platform so I can give $100 million in contracts. Yeah. Next one, yep.
How you doing? My name is Isaiah.
Quick questions, yeah.
Where should young people be focusing their energy and time to take advantage of the technological boom coming with AI so that we can reach wealth?
These are great questions, but they're hard to answer. AI is going to change everything as you know it by 2030. So I'm just saying obsess on financial literacy and AI literacy. I'm co-chair of the AI Ethics Council with Sam Altman, who I think is he's the Steve Jobs of our generation. So go to the AI Ethics Council website. There's a lot of resources there. Read them all. Just be very nosy. Yep.
Quick question. I just wanted to ask, do you recommend more a whole life insurance or IUL if people have?
I keep it simple. Get a life insurance policy. Okay. Most black people don't have one. Get term life if you have to. Whole is cool. It's really cool. It's a savings account. but get a term life insurance policy. I don't want you dying and doing a GoFundMe campaign to put you in the ground, which is what we're doing. So, yeah.
81% of businesses in the United States are one owner, no employee. So
Yeah.
entrepreneurs aren't knowing how
96%
to...
of black businesses.
Absolutely. And so what are some ideas on how to scale, how to hire, or how would you recommend entrepreneurs get their first employee?
Go to Operation Hope for financial coaching. Go to the mayor's office for this 1MBB program. It's too complicated to answer right now. It's a great question, though.
Hey,
yes.
how you doing? What would you do with your...
With the gift I just gave to the mayor, they'll be able to, they're going to be able to give 50 grants of $25,000 of value to businesses in Newark to become e-commerce giants. That's what we did today. Free website, free domain name, free payment system, free Shopify account, free business plan, free credit support, free attorney, free lawyer, free business manager. That thing we announced today, 40 to 50 businesses will get that. So we'll be working with you on a regular basis.
Quick question. If you have 100,000, what would you do with 3 things you would do with 100,000 to maximize your money?
Look, if your question don't, like, if it's started up questions about trying to work with John O'Brien, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's coming back, it's going to come back to the mayor. So if it's a startup question, let's just try to leave that alone and come to the next men's meeting. We can answer that more directly, and we'll create an email to see how you can work with them directly. But besides that, if there's development questions, let's try to get to those first.
Right. So
Questions that only I can answer in the next 10 minutes.
So if you had 100,000, what would you do? The 3 things you would do to maximize your money?
Not a question.
No, I can answer that. I'd buy a house.
Buy a house?
I'd buy a house. I'd have an emergency savings account. I'd get a term life insurance policy. I would create a will, which doesn't cost you anything. It's on the internet. And I'd invest in a conservative stock portfolio of the best quality stocks in the world. That's what I would do with $100,000. You just use a down payment for the house, and the rest of it, plus the EITC, which somebody in your family will qualify for. Is $100,000 is a great nest egg.
I understand that there's a group that's also waiting to see him that want to do a photo op.
I'll do that. I'm gonna do photos.
It's limited at the same time too, because our brother do gotta go. So if I be rude to you, I apologize in advance.
All right, couple more questions. You ready? Bang, bang, bang. But hold on. I'm starting to get a sense am I boring you? No. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, 1 being I was a dud, where is this? All right. Cool. All right. Real quick.
Good morning, Mr. John. I listen to your podcast all the time. You're fabulous.
Thank you.
I would like to know how, because I know that you are someone who compounds, and I'd like to know how you utilize your art to.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a good one.
That's
how
a
you
great
utilize
question.
your art
Yeah.
to compound in your investments. Because
So
I'm an artist.
I buy art that I think I buy art for 2 reasons. One, that because me and my wife just love it, but also art that might have future value. Art is actually an investment vehicle. Jay-Z has done this, by the way. He's bought art. There's a lot of people who are using art as an investment mechanism. But you got to be very thoughtful about it. People get emotional about art and start you shouldn't make any decision emotionally. So people just need to study it, the kind of art form that you love. I buy Shona Stone art from Zimbabwe mostly. But it's a great question, and yes, art is part of my investment portfolio. Get art in the Olympics?
How can we get that to the Olympics?
Oh, I have no idea. It's a great question, but I have no idea.
I'm going to email Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Bill, it's okay to say you don't know something. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to say I have no idea. All right, one last question. Yes.
How you doing? My
Good.
name Nate, representing Razor Sharp from Trenton, New Jersey. I'm an upcoming real estate agent as well as female barber, and I just wanted to ask you, my first step, starting off with real estate, what step would you take if you was me?
Go find a real estate broker in town, or somebody who has a real estate agency, who find the most successful top 10 in town, preferably somebody who looks like you, and ask them for an internship. Agree to do it for free.
And one
Say-
more.
No.
All right.
You remind me of me. Stop it. When I got my first $1 million check, listen to me. When I got my first $1 million check, the CEO of this bank, the check was ready for me. They just wanted to symbolically hand it to me. I walked in the office. His daughter was in there at lunch, waiting to take him to lunch, trying to leave like I'm trying to leave. So he only had a couple minutes. He wanted to hand me the check and wanted me to say thank you. When I went to get the check, I started giving him a speech about my dream and my this and my that. And he stopped me. He said, John, take yes for an answer, take the check, and leave before I take it back. So I gave you an answer. I was giving you a full answer, and you cut me off. No. I'm talking, so let me talk. I see potential in you. I want to pour into you. Don't stop somebody from trying to help you, even though it may differ from your timeline or your approach, okay? So, once again, find a real estate professional. Research the top 10 in your city. Find somebody who fully looks like you. Ask for an internship. They'll say, I don't have a position for that. Say, I'll do it for free. You are willing to work for free. And hang around them every week for 6 months, and they'll try to hire you. When they hire you, you're guaranteed to be successful. Because here's what I've learned about success. If you don't quit, you can't fail. Good job. All right, I love you all. I'll sign books. I'll take pictures until I leave.
At this point, this concludes our monthly men's breakfast meeting. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Look, our brother is going to come down this way, so let's just try to get in the fashion line if we want to take a picture. He's exiting this stage, but form a line. All right?
See my wallet in my
I got it.